So today our topic is factorization. We are going to do the factorization method. And here we have a quadratic equation. We can solve it by different methods, but today our topic is factorization. So I'm going to solve the same question with two different methods. First of all, I'm going to solve it with the particular method, which we usually do. So whenever we have a factorization question, we have to solve it according to the method. Then we always have to see what is written with the variable of the first one. Like the highest power here is this one, x squared. So we have to see that this variable does it have any a constant number with it, any coefficient with it? So whatever is with the variable, we call it the coefficient. So here 4 is the coefficient, while this x squared is actually a variable. So don't confuse yourself with variable and coefficient. So always see what is the highest variable here. Here we have x squared and the coefficient with it is 4. So whenever we have some coefficient with our variable, we have to multiply that coefficient with the constant number of that equation. So instead of finding the factor of 12 or 5, that won't gonna give you the answer. You have to see that your variable x squared has some value, which is 4. So that means you have to multiply this coefficient 4 with this 5. Now, 4 times 5 is 20. That means I have to find factor of 20. Now, in order to find the factor of 20, we're gonna write like this: factor, product, and sum. So we have to find the factor of 20. So I have to think that on which table or on which times I will able to get that 20. So 1 times 20 is 20. But if I add 1 into 20, either I will get 21, or if I subtract it, I will get 19. So, but my desired number is 12x because I have to multiply, but when I add or subtract it, I must get the central number, which is 12x. Now, 1 and 20 fails. So what about 2 times 10? 2 times 10 also give me the same thing. And if I add it, 2 plus 10 would be 12. So that means I can use this thing. So I'm going to write it here. 4x squared will remain as it is. And instead of this 12x, I'm going to write 2x plus this 10x plus 5. Now I have to factor it. The common term here is 2 and x. I'm going to take it outside. And inside here would remains 2x plus 1. And here I'm going to take 5 common. And inside would be, because 5 times 2 is 10x, plus 5 times 1 is 5. Now I can see the same term here is 2x plus 1. So I'm going to write it only once. And the leftover, this and this, I'm going to write it like 2x because it's positive 5. So I'm going to write positive 5. So this is my answer. Now let's solve the same question, but with a little bit different method. We have this question. I can see my variable here, x squared, is the highest one, and it has some coefficient. So the same thing, I need to multiply my 4 with my 5. And 4 times 5 is 20. That means I need to find out the factor of 20. So I'm going to do the same thing, factor, product, sum. And from the previous part, I already know that we're going to use the 2 and 10 because it will give me 12, the second one here. So now instead of writing my 2 and 10 like here in between, I'm only going to write 2, comma, and 10. Now, the next step, you have to see it very carefully because it's not that much difficult. It's an easy thing. We only write our factors here. Then we have to divide our factors with our first variable's coefficient. The coefficient here is 4, and the variable is x. We don't need to write the power. We don't need to write the exponent with it. Either it's cube, square, or a single x. We don't need to write any square on. We want to only write the x, the variable. So I'm going to divide both of them with 4x. If here instead of 4x it's 3x squared, then I'm going to write here 2 divides by 3x, 10 divided by 3x. But here in our case it's 4, so I'm going to only divide it with 4x, both of them. Now, if you can see 2 is divided by 4, I can reduce it. Like 2 times 1 is 2 and 2 times 2 is 4, so it will be 1 over 2x. And I can also reduce 10 and 4 because they are divisible on the table of 2. So 2 times 5 is 10 and 2 times 2 is x. Now, in order to write this one, always write the denominator first, and denominator is the bottom one. So I'm going to write 2x, and the upper one is positive 1, so I'm going to write plus 1. Now here, this one, I'm going to write the denominator first. It's 2x. And the numerator, the upper one, is positive 5. So I'm going to write 5. So you see, all of the answers are same. It just depends on which method you prefer. I always prefer the right one, but sometimes I can also do with the left one. So it always depends on you which method you find it more easy. You're gonna go with it.